of my state. And hopefully we can work this out. But I just wanted to get your thoughts because you'll be right in the thick of this as we go along, in the next few months. Hopefully it's not months. Hopefully it's just days. But thank you for being here. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Senator Tuberville. Senator Kelly, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I think it's important to point out and comment on what Senator Tuberville just said. I think the quote was, "There's nobody more military than me." As far as I could tell, there's at least 4 of us, maybe more, that served in the United States military, in some cases for decades, and at least 3 combat veterans. So I take great exception to what Senator Tuberville had to say, and I've heard him say it before, and it just doesn't make any sense. So I wish you would please reevaluate what you think your experience, and just be a little bit more careful about what you say about the United States military. And I'm very happy to defer to Senator Tuberville.
When you've had a father die on active duty, you've got a right to say whatever you want. Thank you very much.
No, I don't think that's the case. You have folks here that have served in the United States military, and I think in multiple branches. Mr. Chalet, just returned from a trip to Ukraine last week. This is my second this year, and I feel it's important to be on the ground to understand the issues we're facing. And they're significant. And the holds that Senator Tuberville has placed on our military is having an effect with our forces in Ukraine, and it's had an impact. But I want to talk about something else. And, that is the role commercial capabilities have had in Ukraine. And we've seen this with Starlink and others. And, I'm just a little surprised that we got this far and realized that because of a war in Europe that we had a gap in our own capability. And I think that's something we need to consider going forward. And I know there's been a little controversy about the Starlink services in Ukraine. I met with Gwen Shotwell from SpaceX yesterday. The details on this are a little bit complicated, and what's been publicly reported is just not accurate. So looking forward here, it's critical that DoD structures some of its contracts with commercial providers. I'm not specifically talking about SpaceX, to ensure that services that our troops and allies depend upon will be there when they need them. So, Mr. Chalet, I'd like to continue the discussion we had in my office a couple weeks back. If confirmed, what will your approach be to ensuring that future commercial contracts, regardless of the provider and across the department, have the provisions necessary to ensure their services will be there when they need them?
Senator Kelly, thank you for the question, and thank you for the time the other week in your office, and thank you for going a second time to Ukraine. It's very, very important that members of Congress go regularly to Ukraine to see for yourselves what's going on and assess the situation and what we need to do differently. This is an issue that I will be engaged in if confirmed, because Ukraine has been an incubator in many ways of defense innovation, just given the way the Ukrainians have been utilizing the private sector as well as what the United States and others have been providing them. So if confirmed, I would work closely with my colleagues in the acquisition space to see that we're doing what we can to ensure that we're innovating as best we can when it comes to working with the private sector and in getting Ukraine and anyone else the systems that they need to protect themselves.
And Ms. Abercrombie, do you intend, when you're confirmed here, intend to review existing contracts that the department has with our commercial providers to ensure that they meet DoD requirements?
Senator, if confirmed, I think it's absolutely essential that I take a look to make sure, number one, we've baked in an understanding with commercial providers from the outset what the DoD requirements are so that we don't have surprises down the road and we have what we need. And certainly, Senator would commit to making sure we're retroactively looking to ensure we have all the capability we need when we need it.
And Mr. Chalet, do you have any additional concerns about how our adversaries might weaponize commercial services that are available and what we could possibly do to prevent that?
Well, Senator, thanks for the question. I do have concerns looking at it from the outside because it does seem to be an area of vulnerability. If confirmed, It's something I'll look into from the inside and fully understand the scope of the vulnerability and what we can do to get at that.
Well, thank you. And thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Senator Kelly. Senator Mullen, please.
Thank you,